Alright, so now that we have our basic template created here, got a little bit of a battery issue. Alright, so now that we have a power cord in here, you guys at this point should have your first tab created. If you don't, then you want to make sure you create that before you move on to these steps. So we created our Division 1 1000 General Requirements tab. So there's a couple things we want to do before we start going crazy here, copy pasting, things like that. Printing an estimate is somewhat of a challenge sometimes from Excel. You're used to being able to, in Microsoft Word, just file print, and it prints the page pretty much as it's shown, and you don't really have any issues. I get a lot of estimates printed out where the first 4 columns are on one page, the second 4 columns are on the back, and it's always somebody trying to print the morning that something's due, and it's just it's unreadable. It's not really possible to line the stuff up and grade it, and I have no idea what goes with what. It creates a mess. You don't want that. I don't want that. You guys want to make sure that you're doing the best you can. So now that I have this kind of created here, I'm going to go into this page layout tab at the top, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this whole area here. You don't need to show your logic statement down there if you have one. It's just something for you to keep track of on your own. So I'm going to select this area here that I have my template on, and you really don't even need to select any extra cells around it. And I'm going to click this print area button and set my print area. And what that does is that tells Excel what exactly I want printed on this page, because this data sheet goes on for forever, right? Literally forever. So you want it to be able to know what you want to print. If you look in here, you'll notice how there's this dotted line appeared between columns H and I. And that, if I go into View and Page Break View, right, you can see that this is the issue. Excel wants to print this across 2 pages, and you can see how on page 2 you'll have some numbers but no descriptions that go with them, so it's not really possible to look at that and understand what is going on. So if I go back to my and I just click this back onto normal view from page break view. If I go back to page layout, over here you can see that it's set to automatic by automatic. First thing I'm going to do is change the orientation of my page to landscape as opposed to portrait. And then the second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to 1 page wide by automatic height. The reason I use automatic height is if you start getting a lot of line items in here, you might have 3 pages of concrete and 5 pages of masonry and 1 page of specialties, and this will allow you to print more efficiently. So I'm going to save. Then if I go back to view, page break view, you can see how it's all on page 1. Does that make sense? Normal view, page layout. So again, I changed my orientation. I have 1 page by automatic. My size, I'm going to keep on letter. If you start getting into really big spreadsheets, you can print them on different size sheets of paper, but letter works pretty well. And the margins, I'm just going to keep on normal margins. That'll ensure that it'll print normal on each page. Save. So the reason that I set the print parameters and everything like that on this tab is I believe when you copy this tab now, it will, if you copy it the right way, retain those print settings, and you won't have to set those for all 48 tabs. A trap that a lot of people get into is they get caught up with copy and pasting before they set all this stuff up, and then they have to go and change these print settings on 48 tabs rather than having to do it once and then having it retained. So now that you have the print areas and your formatting all set up, you're happy with this, I'm going to go down to the bottom of the page here, and you can see there's this plus where it says new sheet, and you can click that and it gives you a new sheet, and you can start over. And I recommend if you're new with Excel that you may want to do this twice to get good with entering formulas before you actually go on to creating your spreadsheet. But if, let's say we delete that so it's out of the way, are good with Excel, we can go on and copy. So I'm going to show you the wrong way to do this first. So if I go back to create a new tab, and I take this and highlight all of this, copy, back to here, and we started on B2, so if I paste, looks pretty good, right? Change the name of my tab and go through. The issue with this is one, all of your columns sizes reverted, so you'd have to go change those. And if you look up here, your page formatting is wrong again. Your print area is wrong. Your orientation's wrong. It's on automatic by automatic. We don't want that. If I take this tab here and I right click, move or copy, brings up this menu, move to end, create a copy, okay. Now when I go in here, right, you can see it retained the page orientation. It retained my page settings. My column widths are exactly how I left them. So you don't have to redo a lot of formatting. And you can simply go into this tab at the bottom here, double click, and go to the next CSI division, right? Next CSI division, 2000, right? And this is called existing conditions. Your formulas should be the same. All of your settings should be the same. So once you get one tab that you're happy with, you can go through, and I'll show you that duplication process again. You right click, move or copy, move to end, create a copy, okay. And then you can see you verify that your settings have stayed the same. Go down here, change this to the next division, 3000, 3000, concrete. Save. Easy enough? Question? On the print page here? I'll come and look at yours after. It's a view setting. Any other questions? So if you're stuck on a weird view, if you're in view and you went to page break view or whatever else, you just click normal and it goes back to normal from the view tab. You can. Some people work in page break view. I think it's distracting, so I go in there and like to work in normal view. But that's a really efficient way to copy and paste those tabs. Like I said, if you're not good with Excel, I would create 2 of these from scratch first, just for practice with the formulas. Make sure you understand it. Make sure your formulas are right, and make sure you get your font settings right before you print them. So I only have 3 here. You guys are going to have many more than that. But I want to show you how to efficiently print a workbook to a PDF. You're going to have to do this when you turn in projects and actually for this lab itself. So all of your computers have 2 things on them. They have Adobe Acrobat Pro and they also have Bluebeam. Now I have Bluebeam on this laptop, so I'm going to show you how to do it on Bluebeam. I highly recommend it over Adobe Pro for the construction industry anyways. It's a little more construction oriented. But now that I have these print areas, whatever you want to call them, set up correctly, print parameters, you can go down the bottom and you click your first tab, hold shift down and click your last tab. That selects all of them. You go into File, Print, and there's active sheets. You can say entire workbook. You know, and I have all my active sheets are the ones that are highlighted, and I've highlighted 3 of these. But you can also, you could go into here and say print entire workbook, and that's a way to do it. You can see I have, again, the same 3 pages right here. Under printer, I'm going to select Bluebeam PDF. Right? Bluebeam PDF. Print entire workbook. I have my landscape orientation letter, my normal margins, right? All of my print settings stayed the same, and you can see it does not take up the whole page here. But when you have more items, it very well could take up the page. And you can see I have, okay, Division 1, Division 2, Division 3. I'm going to simply click Print. It will bring up a dialog box. I'm going to call this, I'll just call it Estimate Template PDF. In Desktop, I'm just going to save it there for now. And I click Save, and it will open up Bluebeam with a PDF of my estimate template. So I'll fit page. So you can see it fits nicely on the page. There's your Division 1, your Division 2, and your Division 3. All in one workbook. Really quick to make a PDF out of this. Really simple process, and then you can email this to people. You can open it without Excel and view it. You can send it to a client without them seeing your formulas and actually exposing your template. You don't want to have them using work that you did to, for themselves, right? So PDF is kind of a universal language. Any questions on PDFing? Bluebeam is not a freeware as far as your personal computer goes. There are some free PDF printers. I think Qt PDF printer is a freeware. I think there's a pdfcreate.com, or I know there's a pdfmerge.com. But all of the computer labs in Smith Hall and also in Sanford have Bluebeam or Adobe Pro on them, and either one will